Is it that Mr. Modi has captured the zeitgeist, if I may use the word, of New India? That the Congress is seen to represent the old India, an India of Parivarvad, an India which is seen to, in some way you are still pigeonholed as a party tainted with corruption and scams. And Mr. Modi, on the other hand, claims, I'm cleaning up the system, na khane dunga, na khaunga, na khane dunga. And the younger voters in this new India finds his rhetoric, if I may use the word rhetoric, far more attractive than that of the Congress's older India.
I think you are listening to too many Modi speeches. You are speaking the language of Mr. Modi. Now let's take Parivarvad. Who are his allies in the last election and this election? Every one of his allies, to use his words, not my words, is a dynast. Akali Dal, JJP, INLD, RLD in Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Jayant Chowdhury, now his new ally, TDP, Mr. Naveen Patnaik in Orissa. Everybody is a dynast. Why don't you ask him? If you are against Parivarvad, why are every one of your allies a dynast? You won't get an opportunity to ask him because he won't sit in this chair. You will not be allowed anywhere 10 feet of the Prime Minister. But please ask him this question. Therefore, don't listen to too many of Mr. Modi's speeches. Listen to some other speeches also. What is the other thing you said? Zeitgeist or something.
Zeitgeist, these sort of energies of
German
words. Z-E-I.
I'm not surprised that they look to Germany, Russia, China, Turkey, Iran as examples. No. All these countries have turned their constitution upside down. And please read my column on Sunday. I'm afraid a third term for the BJP with a two-third majority will lead to major amendments on the constitution, which you will regret and I will regret. And this audience will regret.
You're saying that we are turning to, if Mr. Modi wins again, India is moving towards an electoral autocracy. Is that what you're saying?
It is already some shades of an electoral autocracy. That's how the VDem Institute describes India's democracy. But if Mr. Modi wins a third term, you can be assured, and you can note the date and the day and the time, major amendments to the Constitution will be made. Let the Prime Minister say, I will not make any amendments to the Constitution which interferes with the federal structure of this country. Let the BJP say that. They will not say that because they have planned to amend the Constitution. And the forerunner of that is this one nation, one election. Well, how is this democratic? Tamil Nadu will go into a state election in 2026. And the assembly elected in 2026 will have only a 3-year term under Mr. Kovind's report, former President Kovind's report. So we will elect terms, we'll elect assemblies with 2-year term, 3-year term, 1.5-year term. What is this democracy?
Since you're raising questions about democracy, one of the big stories at the moment is electoral bonds.
Yes.
14 of the top 30 companies who've given donations through electoral bonds are companies that at some stage or the other in recent times have been raided or investigated by the enforcement agencies. When we asked this question to Nirmala Sitharaman, she said these are your assumptions that there is a protection being offered and that's how any connection is being built between raids and donations given. What's your view? Since you are, many believe, the architect of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Mr. Chidambaram initiates it, the BJP implements it.
The point is, India Today, a famous channel and the most celebrated anchor, doesn't read the facts.
No,
I'll tell you answer.
Yes, sir.
PMLA is a 2002 act.
Yes.
2002, who was finance minister?
Implemented by you,
Just a
notified in
moment.
2005.
Allow me to complete.
Yes, sir.
I'm asking you one question. You don't have an answer. I'll ask you two more. Who was the finance minister and who was the prime minister and which was the law, or who was the government in 2002? One. Second, when did the act receive the assent of the president? In 2003. FATF asked the government, the act has been passed, president has assented, why are you not implementing the act? If you don't implement the act, we will have to ask you to withdraw from FATF. We came into office in 2004. The tremendous pressure from FATF, you have passed a law, you have to implement it, otherwise you'll have to withdraw from FATF. So, in 2005, I made two significant amendments to the Act and implemented it. But nobody thought, not you, not I, not any lawyer, that you can weaponize a law. You weaponize a law, use it to tame or destroy political opponents, and the interpretation, of course, is another issue. We have a review petition. The Supreme Court bench has agreed to review the matter. Therefore, the interpretation made it worse.
But can I ask?
Law was passed by the BJP. The law was assented to in the BJP's time. We had no choice but to implement it. I made two significant amendments and implemented it. And the law has been weaponized. As long as we were in power, did we weaponize the law?
Sir, that is a contentious issue. Whether you misused or didn't misuse agencies, we can debate that separately.
You started PMLA.
Sir, may I just very quickly though ask you, just a minute. Number one, electoral bonds, according to you, therefore, and their links with enforcement agencies is the weaponization of those agencies. You're very clear about that.
I described electoral.
So give me a better
just
system.
A moment, just
give
a
me
moment.
a better system for
Just a
campaign
moment.
financing.
The day the electoral bonds was introduced, I said it's legalized bribery. It's legalizing bribery.
You still maintain that?
I still maintain that.
What's the better system?
Better system is a multi-pronged system. One system is to allow more open campaigning. The Election Commission's restrictions have driven election campaigning underground.
Cash has gone underground.
Because they place too many restrictions. See, elections are a festival of democracy. It must have a lot of rhetoric, song, dance, speeches. They have restricted everything. Last time in Tamil Nadu, we were not allowed to take a road show. We were not allowed to fly flags. We were not allowed to paste posters in towns and municipalities. Therefore, the election has been driven underground. Bring back election over the ground. That's one. Second, allow a larger limit of expenditure for candidates. This is ridiculously low numbers. Nobody can win an election or fight an election by spending these ridiculously low amounts. To hire a car for a day in 1984, when I contested election, cost 300 rupees to 400 rupees. Today, to hire a car for a day will cost you 4,000 to 5,000 rupees. Third, state funding. There's a simple way to state fund. You take the 2024 election, take the 2019 vote share. Per vote, I give you 1 rupee. I'm giving an example. 1 rupee for every vote you got in 2019. The BJP will get more. It's entitled to get more because it won the election. So state funding on a purely neutral formula, every political party has to accept it, so state funding. And then revert to open, transparent donations to political parties, where the donor will reflect it in his books of account or the company's books of account, and the political party has to reflect it in its annual financial statement.
Okay.
There's a multi-pronged approach.